Kevin.
I'd like to call to order the council meeting of Tuesday, March 7th, 2023 to order. Can I have a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Secretary, can I have roll call, please?
Rebecca Smith.
Here.
Rashaad Bates. Lauren Hughes. Here. Tiffany Henley. Here. Dustin Queenan.
Here.
Heather Lewis. Thomas LaPera.
Here. Can I have a motion to approve the previous minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Executive session announcement. We had an executive session tonight on a legal matter. Any announcements, council? Seeing none, move into public comments. Madam Secretary?
Jim Waters.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Evening.
How you all doing today? Everything has been put on hold because of the train crash up there in Ohio. And I'm concerned that Norfolk Southern owns the railroad right next to the river. And the idea is that if they do the same thing here, it's going to be a real catastrophe. So I have to map off of that. What's interesting about it is if you look at that cartoon, it shows a circle and an arrow and a star. And that's an axle that fell off of one of the cars and it overheated. That's what caused the problem. And I blame everything on 1980, the SAGS Rail Act deregulation. It seems over the years, deregulation has created a lot of problems. I'm sure somebody got called today telling you you were cheated on your third-party electric company. Press 1 to have your identity stolen. The thing is that there had been a railroad issue previous that concerned, and I got in touch with the county, and they have a natural hazard mitigation plan. So I was talking to the county today about making sure that this goes on, to make sure that we don't have this catastrophe in our area. The idea that we can do something about this, I don't know what can be done. All I can do is point out something that I see is what I consider a danger to our drinking water. Where we go from here, I don't know, but this is the first place I think that I shoot my mouth off. Oh, no, wait a minute. I did talk to the County Planning Commission and make sure they knew what my issue was with respect to this. Now, I know there's some other things that go with the deregulation, but the fact is that Norfolk Southern was really, I didn't bring my glasses. I don't want to look that old wearing glasses. But anyhow, I mean, that's the long and short of it. I wanted to talk something also about the meeting with Craig Scott to discuss some of my concerns in Norristown. And also I got a meeting with the superintendent of schools, stormwater, Hank Cisco show, and Roosevelt Fields for patch houses. So we'll see how that turns out. Meanwhile, I saw that the county has put up $5 million for the houseless situation. And well, that was nice to see. It sounds like maybe the reason that they're not answering my calls and emails and stuff is because they're trying to keep me away from them. In fact, actually, when Lee from the county was at the academy and he gave me his card, I just found out recently, everything that I sent to them has been spammed. So now we're trying to catch up with that. You know, but we'll work our way through it because I'm staying positive, and you are all good guys. I said that before.
Thank you, Mr. Waters.
Thank
Now I have
you.
to run and shoot my mouth off to another place.
Jenny Cho.
Thank you all.
I'm just going to read that page.
Hi. Hi, I'm Jenny Cho. I'm sort of new here to town.
Can you just state your address?
Oh, 50 503 Barbados Street, Barbados and Erie Street. I just wrote this letter, I guess, for Mr. Odenigbo for the first matter about the signs. We, the building owner 503 family at 503 Barbados Street, are humbly writing to this letter to ask for permission to hang a no littering $300 fine sign on the telephone pole located in the right-of-way in front of 503 Barbados Street, corner of Barbados and Erie Streets in Norristown. We also ask for the following sign to be hung up on the traffic light at Erie Street and Barbados Street for the drivers coming from Barbados Street. Quote, oncoming traffic has extended green. Regarding no littering sign, some people have been dumping their trash and littering on our property. We have been working hard to keep our part of the block clean, but people keep throwing their trash everywhere. We have removed graffiti. We have removed endless numbers of discarded beer bottles and beer cans. We find ourselves picking up someone else's trash off our sidewalks almost daily. Aside from our own efforts, we think an enforceable no littering sign posted by the municipality would be helpful in spreading the word. This message is intended for the litter bugs and not the wonderful trash responsible individuals and families already doing their part for a cleaner neighborhood. Regarding the extended green sign, I have witnessed and experienced firsthand myself the many impatient drivers coming down Barbados Street at the unusually extended red light at Barbados and Erie. I was told that the traffic light is working if the drivers wait behind the white striped line, which they frequently never do, because the sensor which activates the traffic light from red to green works when drivers stop before the white striped lines. I have seen a lineup of cars at that unusually extended red light when there is no oncoming traffic from Erie Street, and the drivers, thinking that the traffic light is broken, get out of their cars to pressure other cars to move ahead or turn right onto Erie Street. We have also seen many accidents occur at this intersection of Barbados Street and Erie Street over the past few months and wonder if these accidents are related to that extended red. We think that a sign oncoming traffic has extended green placed next to that extended red traffic light would be helpful in notifying drivers coming from Barbados Street why the red light is extended. We hope for a cleaner, safer, and more beautiful Norristown for all. Thank you. And here's the second issue I was wondering about, the parking situation around Barbados and Erie Streets. Dear Montgomery County and dear Norristown Municipal Council, we're humbly writing this letter on behalf of the families who have trouble finding overnight street parking nearby where they live in Norristown, particularly in the vicinity of Barbados Street and Erie Street, which also happens to be where the large Montgomery County-owned parking lot at 400 Markley Street is located.
Yep. I have to stop you. There's a time limit on it.
Oh.
But I do think I understand what you're saying about the parking overnight, and it's something that has been brought up to our county between municipal officials and the county, and we're trying to work something out on overnight parking now. As for the other issue, Mr. Odenigbo might be able to have some guidance here. Thank you.
That's it.
Any other public comment in the crowd that didn't get to sign up? Seeing none.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Any other public comment?
They did not sign up?
Yes.
Yes.
Come on up.
Okay, I'm going to read an email because I sent an email to Councilman Bates, who I'm not sure who.
You need to give your name and address, please.
Oh, my whole name?
Yes.
LaDonna.
For the record.
What is it?
LaDonna Rose, R-O-S-E,
Okay.
and that's LaDonna with 2 N's,
And your address?
1229 Oakwood Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm here because I feel like, I'm not from Norris. I wasn't born and raised here. I moved 22 years ago, almost in a month. It'll be 22 years. What I saw when I moved in is far different than what I'm seeing now. And this is prior to the pandemic, so it's not maybe economic, but not pandemic-wise. Okay, so I've been a Norristown resident for about 22 years. For first-time home purchase after leaving my family home in Philadelphia. I am concerned about the Norristown Borough becoming too lax on various topics, such as just what the lady mentioned, especially about the driving, people not stopping at stop signs. I'm on the west side. So people just coast through, a lot of them, all of them. But most importantly, a tenant moved out of a property and our trash is collected in the back, in the alleyway. And obviously the landlord had someone come in and put the trash out. And it's very, very excessive. This is a landlord, he should know better. He does know better, he does know better. The trash is still there 3 weeks later. That is not any of our problems to have to look at this. And even if I have sent my little messages through the website, I don't think that it should go to the point where you have to send 2 notices. 1 notice is fine. At the end of the day, he's going to write this off as a tax write-off. Why does he get so many chances? He should have had a dumpster, collect it, take it away. 3 weeks, we all have to look at an excessive amount of trash. People can't even get through the driveway almost. It's not what I was used to when I first moved in. And I don't understand, what is the plan for Norristown? Where can I see what the plan is? Because the way I see it going, it's almost as if people have thrown up their hands and like we just don't know what to do. If you keep the expectations very, very, very high, people move in. Because right now people can walk by and see that and say, oh, we could do that too. I don't want that. I don't pay taxes. I don't go to work. I didn't buy the house to look at someone else's trash and blight. And I'm thankful that it's not the summertime and I'm not smelling the stench or whatever else could go wrong with this. But it can get worse. People are moving and coming and going. You're saying to them, we allow anything. Just come as you are and do what you want to do. Nothing's going to happen to you. Even if you're going to find him at some point, you're still saying to others, maybe that's the way you want to make money. You can make money by getting him money from him, and you can make money by getting these people to not stopping at these stop signs, and far other things I could think of that you can make money on if you take the time to do what you used to do when I first moved in. Riding through, citing things, sending out letters. People got out and they did what they were supposed to do. And that's what I would like to see again. Because you're going to lose a lot of people who are willing to be homeowners and do the right thing. But maybe that's what's expected. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm going to start back coming to these meetings and doing homework with my son while I sit here and listen, because I have other things that I could be doing, but I'm going to start coming to learn what is going on and give more expectations and hear what other people have to say. But I do believe that that tenant at 1224 West Marshall Street, that trash needs to go.
Thank you. Mr. Singh? Thank you. Any other public comment?
Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's weird being in the middle. So my name is Rashaad Brown. I can say my name. I spoke to you last month. Address is 622 East Moore Street, Norristown, PA, 19401. I spoke to the president last month. I just have an ongoing issue. As I explained to you last month, you said you'd call me back in a few days. I haven't heard anything, but this has been an ongoing thing. I talked to Crandell Jones numerous times about this issue. There's a commercial property next to my property that belongs to someone else. It's in the records, and they have junk cars and trash. They set the car on fire. It damaged my house in 2017. The fire marshals came out. I had a fence approved by zonal. I can't put the fence up. This was before COVID because of all of this stuff that's going on. Mr. Crandell Jones said it's something legal. I gotta wait for court. I've been waiting, don't hear anything. I keep calling. I get Crystal's voicemail. No one's following up. No one's doing anything. And I've been talked to everybody. Mr. Hakeem Jones, the previous president, Senator Capitelli, everybody. And I'm just like you guys don't do anything. And it's like 7 years later. And the junk cars are still there. You guys say you're going to do something, you don't do it. You said you're going to call me back, haven't heard nothing from you, Mr. President. Haven't heard nothing from him, so whatever. So maybe somebody can write something down and really do some investigation, do your job, and get to some resolution so I can put my fence up. Please, just do your job.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you, Mayor.
Moving on, Planning and Municipal Development, Resolution 23-18.
Council President, before you, Council, tonight is Resolution 2318. It's a request for preliminary final land development for the Elmwood Park Zoo Welcome Center. For the record, I'll just give you a brief outline of what has occurred prior to this resolution being considered. Please note that the Elmwood Park received zoning relief for impervious service from the Zoning Hearing Board on October 25th, 2022. The applicant submitted an application for preliminary final land development for plans dated November 10th, 2022. The zoo then presented their design to the Design Review Board on December 14th, 2022, and they recommended approval to council. And the applicant then submitted a revised submission of the plans January 13th, 2023 to the Planning Commission. On February 14th, 2023, the applicant then submitted another revised submission of the plans February 17th, 2023. The applicant also went in front of the Zoning Hearing Board for a wall and fence height, and they received approval at the February 28th, 2023. Having received all of those approvals and recommendations to approve, they're before you tonight for you to consider the preliminary and final land development resolution. In that resolution, there are 8 waivers. Our municipal engineer has informed us that he does not have any objections to these particular waivers, but we do have the zoo represented tonight, if they're willing to give a very brief outline, especially for the benefit of a new councilwoman. It's just for your information, Councilwoman. This plan is being implemented in phases, and this is the first phase. So they will be coming back to council as they move through the phases. And we do have our good friend Al Zone here to give us a brief outline.
Thank you.
And then our engineer will comment on the waivers, and council will consider approval for this application.
Absolutely. Jane, thank you. I'll be brief. I know you guys have a lot on the schedule. This is phase 1. Just like Jane alluded to, this is our welcome center. There's a fountain out front that talks about the history of the zoo. It's being done by world-renowned bronze sculptor who is local to Montgomery County, Zenas Fadakis. It also has an exhibit inside as to why zoos matter. Zoos get stigmas of animals in cages. There's about 30,000 animal collected establishments across the globe. There's only 238 that have the accreditation that Elmwood has, which is awesome, which is the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. So it talks about why zoos matter. Also in this exhibit is the veterinary hospital. I believe a lot in transparency. So as our guests come through the exhibit, not only do they learn why zoos matter, they get to see the animal welfare that we get to perform. At the same time, we also get to educate through the University of Penn, vets that are up and coming through exotics. It has an office complex as well as family restrooms, ADA setups. They're all individual restrooms with adult and child changing tables, gift shop, the whole 9 yards. So this is really exciting. This is slated to open for our 100th anniversary, which is in the spring of next year. So that's kind of it from me. I'm going to turn it over to Greg, who's also going to have Mike talk a little bit on the waivers.
Hey folks, Greg Davis with the Saul Ewing Law Firm. I was prepared to walk you through the process that got us here tonight, but Jane did a better job than I could ever do. So it's a preliminary final plan. I've seen a copy of the draft approval resolution, fine with it. There are 8 waivers that we're requesting. I think your municipal engineer is going to comment on those. Would you like us to walk you through those, have our engineer walk you through those, or will your engineer do that? Whatever you all would like us to do, we'll be happy to do.
Maybe just list what the variances were, and then Ted, if you briefly just tell us.
Yeah, do you want the section, or do you just want me to go over the?
Just
yeah.
what they.
All right. So the first waiver that I have is just the plans. They're being prepared at a scale of 1 inch to 200 feet. Required is 1 inch to 50 feet. However, I believe there are some plans that are at a smaller scale, so we're okay with that. The next one is providing curb along Harding Boulevard. This is a waiver, however, they, I guess, had mentioned that they would propose that in future development. So it's not going to be done now, but it'll be done in future development. The third one is regarding stormwater piping. They're proposing HDPE in lieu of the RCP. We're okay with that because this is private piping. It's going to be maintained by the owner. The fourth one is in regards to an orifice size. They're proposing 3/4 of an inch. The minimum size is 3 inches. We're okay with this because this orifice is below ground. The 3-inch orifice is mainly for a surface basin. So this is something that's actually approved through the NIFTY's permit process also. The fifth waiver is in regards to the removal of 6-inch caliber trees. We don't have any issue with this. I believe you're going to have landscaping proposed as part of this project, so we don't have an issue. The next waiver is in regards to the plant species. Within the ordinance, there's recommended requirements for the type of species. However, the species that they're proposing basically are chosen in particular for the environment of the zoo for the animals. So we have no issues with this waiver. The seventh one is in regards to the disturbance in the floodplains. And also the last one is disturbance within the riparian buffer. We're okay with this. They'll get the applicable permitting through the applicable agency.
That's all?
That's all. That was 8 of them.
Okay. Council, do we have any questions? Comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 23-18?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith?
Aye.
Lauren Hughes?
Aye.
Tiffany Henley?
Approve.
Dustin Queenan?
Aye.
And Thomas LaPera.
Aye. The ayes have it. Resolution passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Moving into fire, Resolution 23-17. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. Municipal Council, before you this evening is Resolution 23-17, requesting municipal council approval to apply for a staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant to hire 6 firefighters. If council remembers, we applied for this same grant last year and were denied. So this is our second attempt to secure the necessary funding to hire 6 additional firefighters.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve 23-17?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith?
Aye.
Lauren Hughes?
Aye.
Tiffany Henley?
Aye.
Dustin Queenan?
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution passes. Resolution 23-16. Chief.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, before you this evening, Municipal Council is Resolution 23-16, requesting council approval to apply for assistance to firefighter grant. This grant would be is being applied for to purchase a washer and extractor for the fire department. It's something that washes our protective gear and takes the contaminants out of after a structure fire. This grant is in the amount of $24,500, and there is a match for this grant. The other grant had no match. This match is a 10% match, which I've already predicted that cost and have included in this year's operating budget.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve Resolution 23-16?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith?
Aye.
Lauren Hughes?
Aye.
Tiffany Henley? Aye. Dustin Queenan?
Aye.
Thomas LaPera.
Aye, the ayes have it. Resolution passes. Thanks, Chief. Municipal Administrator, Ordinance 23-01.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council Ordinance 23-01 is a request of council to approve a franchise renewal agreement between Verizon and the municipality. As council recalls, at its last meeting, we requested advertisement of this ordinance. We have done the advertisement and completed it as required by law. Just as a quick reminder, this will be a 5-year franchise renewal as to opposed to the 10 years that was initially proposed. One of the outcomes of it is that there will be about $21,335 provided to the municipality within 90 days of signing the agreement, so that we can buy some equipment to outfit our facilities for local broadcasts as well. The franchise fees can be up to 5% of the operator's gross revenues, used not to include sports programming fees and revenue from the sale of their subscriber list, but now we will get that revenue as well. As we said, we've done all the due diligence that we need to. One other thing, because of the changing nature of the industry, Verizon was seeking the opportunity to unilaterally withdraw from the agreement at its sole discretion, but our attorneys representing us were able to successfully negotiate that they would have to give us 12 months notice before they can do that. And so the agreement is before you. We participated with about 12 other municipalities in a jointly obtaining legal support to negotiate our franchise agreement, and got a great rate in doing so.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve ordinance 23-01?
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith?
Aye.
Lauren Hughes?
Aye.
Tiffany Henley?
Aye.
Dustin Queenan?
Aye.
Thomas LaPera?
Aye. The ayes have it. Ordinance passes. Municipal Council motion to approve opioid settlement. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. So council, we just need a motion and a vote for council to decide whether or not you want to opt into an opioid settlement class actions litigation suit that was brought by the state. The issue on the table is, if we do not opt in, we do not have an opportunity to go after Teva, Allergan, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. There's a settlement that's already been reached for $20 billion for the state, and the funds will be allocated to Pennsylvania pursuant to a fee disbursement program that's going to be put in the trust order that's ultimately found. And so should you elect to participate, we have to submit our documentation no later than April 18th, and if you vote tonight, we'll sign that documentation, send it forward, and ultimately we'll receive a portion of the fees that are ultimately dispersed to the state of Pennsylvania.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion to approve
To opt in.
To opt into the class action lawsuit.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Secretary.
Rebecca Smith?
Aye.
Lauren Hughes?
Aye.
Tiffany Henley?
Aye.
Dustin Queenan?
Aye.
Thomas LaPera?
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes. Departmental reports. We'll start out with police. Chief Bishop.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, Council. I don't have the numbers for February yet, so I'll go off of January. But to start with, in January of this year, the police responded to 3,504 calls for service for the month. That was compared to 3,386 from the year before, or a 3% increase. For February, we're at 3,086 calls for service, which was up from 3,024, which is a 2% increase. As a point of reference, in 2022, our department responded to 41,441 calls for service. This equates to 3,450 calls for service per month, 113 calls for service a day, or 38 calls for service per shift. So we are still busy. As far as what we've gotten so far. So objective 1, to reduce serious crimes under 700. In January, we were at 64 Part 1 crimes, a little higher than I'd like to be, but I think we're going to be okay. Objective 2, to reduce fatal and non-fatal shootings to under 14. We've had 0 non-fatal and 0 fatal shootings for the month. That continued into February. I can tell you that we've had no fatal or non-fatal shootings. Objective 3 is to reduce robberies to under 50 for the year. We had a 70% decrease in robberies for the month of January as compared to 2022. And this was because of the extra patrols we put up on the West Marshall Street District where we were having so many problems. It actually worked perfectly. We actually had 0 up there from when we started in December for keeping the extra patrols up there. I will say in February we had a little rash of robberies involving cars, carjackings. It turned out that our detectives did an outstanding job. We're able to identify subjects involved in 3 different incidents, made an arrest, and we're able to clear that out. And these subjects were stealing cars up here, going down to Philadelphia and doing the same thing down in Philadelphia and coming up here. So that cleared out some things that could have been a serious problem for somebody's safety. So it was a great job by our detectives in February. Number 4 objective, we had a 0% change in the theft of motor vehicles for the month. We're at the same number we had last year. My objective is to reduce it by 25% this year. Objective number 5, reduce repeat victimization and injuries with DVI, domestic violence, by 10%. We actually had an increase in domestic violence. That continued into February. Most of these are first-time contacts that we've had, so we've had no prior contact where we were able to get services to these people. Unfortunately, some of them were aggravated, where it was a strangulation or something. No serious injuries, but because of the statutes, we're able to charge that way. All of them have been cleared by arrest, by the way, which is even a better statistic that I'd like to put out there. Objective 6, increase community engagements by 25%. We had 5 community events in the month of January and February. I think we had 9 so far that I can recall. Objective number 7, reduce traffic accidents. And I know one of the comments was traffic accidents at area in Barbados that I'll look into. Want to reduce that by 10%. So far we have a 64% decrease in crash-related injuries, 5% increase in crashes not involving injuries, overall 35% decrease in all crashes compared to January. So we're down in that. And that's I think has a lot to do with directing the officers to go out and do aggressive traffic control and start pulling over drivers. Not necessarily citing, but at least pulling them over. My last objective is to fill in my expected vacancies in the police department through hiring and additional promotions as needed. So I'm able to hire 4 additional officers. One's in the academy now, 3 are on the street. All 3 have either the academy or prior police background. So we're up at 66 officers now, just shy of the 69, but well above what we were last year. So going into the summer, I think we're going to be good. Still have a couple of vacancies in the civilian staff that we want to fill, including parking enforcement, which we've already put out advertisements for job applicants for that. Any questions on any of that?
Any questions, Council? None. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Chief O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, your February operational summary for the fire department. We had 93 emergency dispatches. Our average response time from dispatch to on scene was 4 minutes and 36 seconds. Our busiest time frame was Mondays at 6 p.m. Departmental training classes for the month were 85. Department training hours for the month were 197. We had no injuries to either firefighters or civilians for the month. We conducted 70 fire inspections, 30 public education events, 80 homes were visited for smoke detector installs, of which we installed 13. And that is your February monthly operational summary.
Council, any questions? None. Thank you, Chief. And Mr. Singh, codes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Council, year to date, we have issued 565 contractor registrations and contractor licenses. We did mail out the 2023 rental licenses to all of the property owners. They were mailed out about a week and a half late this year, and that was because we had a process where we had to verify that the lead inspections were completed for the property, that the rental license fee was paid, and also that we have an updated 2023 rental license application on file along with the business license information. So it took us a little bit longer to verify those 3 items, but every rental property which had those criteria completed, those rental licenses were mailed out. And the properties that possibly the rental fee hasn't been paid, or we don't have the lead inspection on file, or a combination of one of those items, we're going to be sending out letters within the next week to all of those rental property owners to inform them that you have to comply with one of those requirements that you still haven't met with. That way you can obtain your 2023 rental license. So that'll be going out in the next week. And I will be submitting a written report to council next month where we are with the rental inspections, and I'm sure you guys are going to be very happy to see how we are moving along with the rental inspections at this time. With lead inspections, we actually now have over 2,250 lead-free or lead-safe housing units in Norristown, so that program is moving along very well. Regarding property transfers, it's even busier than last year. For the month of January and February, comparing it from this time last year, we're at a 19.5% increase. And last year, if you guys remember, we were at a 20% increase for the year prior. So inspections, we're very busy right now, which is a good thing. And so we are taking care of those inspections as those requests are coming in. Regarding quality of life ticketing and property maintenance, we have issued year-to-date 239, not year-to-date, from January 1st to February 28th, we have issued 239 tickets. And regarding permits, we have issued until February 28th, 230 permits, which is actually an increase of almost 160% from this time last year. So permits issuance and inspections is busy as well. And I'm happy to report that we finally have almost a full staff. At one point we were at 60% staffing levels, and now we're at 93%. So we're confident that in the next 60 days, the remaining position that we have open will be filled, and we will have a full staff to be able to perform the duties of our department. And that is all I have, Council. Thank you.
Council, any questions?
Yes, I have a quick question. There was a question raised on social media, and I was very curious as to the answer. If there's a property transfer from a single member, an individual owner to a multi-member or a single member LLC, does that require a transfer inspection?
So per our municipal ordinance, anytime a property ownership changes, so perfect example, if it's going from an individual's name to a LLC, that would require a property transfer application and inspection. So for that particular situation, more than likely, it was in the individual's name. It was probably their, primary home. And now the fact that it's going into a LLC, more than likely, it's going to be a rental property. So we have to come out to do an inspection to ensure that the resident that's going to be living in that home is going to be living in a safe, property.
On that point, did we do something recently about family, like say the parents left it to their kid, right?
So we are actually working with the Municipal Solicitor's Office, Mr. Jones's office, and codes. We're actually going to be coming to council in probably the next 2 workshop meetings to introduce something that you guys, to see if you guys would wish to adopt. Similar to what we did when a newly constructed building was being built, we wanted to make sure that we would expedite and help, make sure that the transfer occurs quickly when it's a newly constructed structure, and we just did all the building inspections, that the new homeowner could, move into the property quickly without having to do another property transfer. You guys had passed an ordinance to exempt those types of inspections. So we're going to do something similar, bring it to council to see if you guys would want to create some type of an exemption when if there's some type of life event, somebody got married, somebody got divorced, somebody wants to add their child, as long as it's going to be owner occupied and the original person that was originally on the deed is going to continue to be on the deed, and it's not going to be a true transfer of property, then, necessarily, council may not want us to go out to do an inspection there, but that will be coming before you guys within the next 2 council meetings.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you.